according to this, whoa. Uh, okay, I'm streaming. Hey, everyone. Oh, I have to see what this looks. I redid my camera. I'm still. Well, that may be an internet. Let me see it. Okay, my HD comes through. I mean, as best as it can. Uh, I would like to thank everyone for being. Oh, it's downgraded. Well, it's okay. Um, Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing okay. This is the second episode of Surviving CIOX. Sorry, I laugh because it's it's astounding. I am. It's just astounding. Um, it's astounding. Holy smokes, it's astounding. Um, so shucks. Um, okay, that's a little. I'm trying to set my volume. I'm gauging it. I'm not trying to be too loud, and I still want to. This I published. So my. Hmm, hmm, hold on. I'm trying to decide what to do regarding. This does tell me that I'm. It shows that I'm streaming right now, and I can see that I'm. Okay, yo, a lot of this stuff is new to me using YouTube. I'm excited about it, but I'm also a little nervous. I don't want to make mistakes. But anyway, this is episode 2. And if I run into any problems, I'll fix them on the go. Uh, I'm referencing a post that I made or an article that I wrote because it was made July 15th, 2022. And this date is very significant because according to court documents, I was planning on harming people around this time. And in order for that evidence to exist, this would not have had to exist. And so something happened where this was sent to people, and because of what's in it is the reason why August 12th, 2022 happened. So a month after this was written, something quite significant happened. And I want to read it because I was at a place where I was told to form a lawsuit and present it to them. And as far as I know, that's writing out statements as far as what the lawsuit is going to be and putting it to court. I don't want to go to court because I don't want to be abused by people. That this is in an email to the people. I do not want to go through a court case and fight people over things that they know that they're doing. This was what was written. And so I'm going to read it. This experience has made me very nervous. And things that I was doing at the time, I'm doing despite my that's courage. And so to talk about this in such a candid way for me is it's hard because I'm still upset. I'm still upset about what's happening, but I'm doing what I gotta do, right? So I want to appreciate people who are here to be here uh, as we get down to the bottom of it. Um, so many things pour into my mind, like So I like Scooby Doo. And as far as I knew, the only thing that the gang wanted to do was to stop people from being terrorized. Right? Like they came into town, someone said, "Hey, there's this ghost." There's this ghost that's going around causing terror, and we don't know what to do. And then the gang said, "You know what? Let's help these people out." And whoever they caught said, "These god." No, they didn't say that. You meddling kids. Not that they were wrong. Not that they were assholes. Not that they were just meddling, and they hate them. When it comes to things in my life, I don't think that I'm meddling in any. I want to directly address, or excuse me, what I have to drink something. Oh, my Invisalign gets me. Seltzer water is pretty good. Should I drink seltzer water right now while I'm streaming? So let me. Yeah, I have a. I'll call it a breakfast island that I'm operating from because it's comfortable. I get a good amount of light in, and this is all stuff until I get. But I'm having an experience parallel to this one. Is the one where I'm still trying to be okay, um, be accommodating to the me that has needs right now that rely on the past, and that requires reflection. It requires it requires being a part of the experience that you should put behind you. Hellish, this, but it is what it is. Um, I'm going to read the article. It's been posted for over a year now. If you haven't read it, you haven't. So I'm going to. As I mentioned, I get nervous, so I have typos and shit, but that doesn't matter to me. Always edit whatever you need to edit. Um, Nothing is permanent except death. Do what you can to fix what you can. Um, that's that on that. Anywho, the cost and value of better. By me. The universe requires that I prove to her who I am, and I welcome the opportunity. I get to express myself in a whole new way. I get to use my courage, pursue my life specifically in a way that is kind and safe to me. As I write, and I now read, I have the opportunity to fight in a way that is second nature to me, even though I am a bit out of practice. Typos and grammatical errors. So. Now, not everyone will know this, but well, not even that. People may not know it, but I think a couple of comedians have joked about this, where um, black men are to be providers. That's it. They are to have no other experience than that. And ask a person who regards a black man what they like about them, and listen to what they say. I know that, like growing up, whenever a woman, what would you like about Joe? He's a great provider. Now he's funny. Not he's kind. Not he's sensitive. Not he's just a good provider. And because I know that specifically means that I don't want for any. I personally don't want for anything. That's what makes him. And it would mean that if you did, he would not have been a good, he would not have been anything really, you know? Um, that's more real than you can know. But anyway, that's a, um, that's another talk that I cut out of this particular live stream and talk about. But anyway, the black male experience is to be a provider, period. But I have learned that the blueprint of going above and beyond first requires the appreciation of my. In learning how to assert myself, I learned how to advocate for others. Valuing others, I learned how to appreciate myself. I learned how to assert myself to achieve my desires. I learned how to advocate for valuing others. I have learned how to value myself. By having it for myself, I can have it for others. I've learned how to discern better. That entire sentence, and the reason it's written is because I can't be me without other people. I couldn't know what I was unless another person told me. I would just know that I'm going through life doing my thing. Other people had to tell me I was smart. Other people had to tell me I was kind, I was sensitive. I don't think I aim to be a good person. I think I aim to be decent. The only way I can know I'm being is it um, knowing what's good for me is not knowing what's better for me, and sometimes that's actually and you not getting what you want because man, why can't I get this thing? Why can't I? Because something else is waiting for you. You have to go through. One of the things we lack as Americans is the ability to appreciate anyone other than ourselves. Between our own happiness and our own achievements, we do not have time to care for others. And we don't have time to go far to observe this. Oh, excuse me. We don't have to go far to observe this. We can observe this how we raise our children. Some people converse with their children, ask them questions and wait for the child's appreciation of their own experience is delightful, desired. The child has the opportunity to be considered. That consideration is grown and cultivated simply because it existed. They say those kids turn out to be good kids. My personal experience with this is going to well, my mom would watch me play video games. And she asked me things. My mom actually has played video games with me. We've played Diddy Kong Racing. Um, she would drive in the opposite direction. She would drive in the opposite direction. Um, my mom, my aunt. Um, as hard as my family was, I can say that it was a because I can identify that I didn't have to go through other things that other people did. But to say that I didn't go through my own not so great experiences, um, it would be to deny that I'm sitting here talking to you. I've been through a lot and I'm okay with it. You know, uh, I did have the opportunity, it was therapy, but I had a mom who had insurance that allowed me to go to a therapist, and I turned out to not be bad. I turned out to be okay. Because even though it was hard and it required an extra step, I appreciated it, and I still got to be good. Anyone who considered me to be a good kid, knowing me for that long, thank you so much. I was going through a lot, but I thank you. Um, but some don't. The child is told they have nothing to cry for. Convince them crying is weak. We convince them that their only methods of communicating are ineffective and non-existent, while not teaching them any other way. When you tell a kid they don't have anything to cry for, that is their emotions expressing themselves. They are not that much farther behind being a baby, which is when they cried for don't ever tell a child that they have nothing. Don't you ever do that. Don't you ever do it. Try and understand. If their needs are simple, you have the time. Don't you ever in your life tell a child that they don't have a reason to be crying. Don't do it. Thank you. There is no wonder kids can have the potential of bad kids. Everything that went into their well-being wasn't well-meaning. We denied their existence twofold. We denied their capabilities that proved their existence, simultaneously invalidating outright. We failed to realize that it isn't even their fault and judge them for it. Good kids and bad kids all have the same potential when they start out. Some just don't have the proper environment to thrive. I do not judge people on their ability to access or assess better. A person can only know what they've been through. Towards that end, I want to follow and provide a sustainable example of what better is and should be, and meet others to build that together. If you have a vision of what better is, you have an intention on your that sounds like. I personally don't want should to exist in our vocabulary, because either you are able to do it, either you did or you did not, or you are or you. All you do is make yourself feel guilty about something you don't. That removes the ability to ask yourself, well, why don't I? And the fact that people are still saying that they're procrastinating is kind of wild to me. Procrastination is not real. You're having anxiety about doing something you don't want, and you put it off to the last possible moment because you don't have any time to dawdle. You don't work best under stress. You have no choice but to try your best with whatever time you have left. Stop doing it. Please stop doing it. If you know that you are deserving of the love you need in your life, I'm here to let you know you can love yourself enough to stop saying you're procrastinating, to sit yourself, the moment you get a task, sit yourself down with it and say, okay, assess. I mean, as soon as you, the fact that you may not even want to write it down is not only, it's not only that you should, but you should write a page just on that thing so you can understand what your feelings are about it. Wash the dog. I like bathing dogs, but I know other people don't because they don't. And I don't want to argue with anyone about it, you know. Um, if I had anxiety about it, I would say I have to get the dog. I have to, because each thing you write down is what you have to prepare yourself for. What you have to prepare yourself for. I don't know if I said that right. I've been noticing. I've been acquiring dysfunction over the past couple of years because the thoughts and the ideas that I have been informed to come out based on this. And stuff is legal. I've been reading "Don't Talk About It, Don't Talk." But as I've been going through this and like learn, I've learned, it's like I have the opportunity to talk about my wrongful termination because the time on it has lapsed. Um, as far as I know, until there are other things that I can prove where wrongful termination is not even. Yeah, and you know, um, but yeah, a lot of it has been holding it inside, which I think is a part of like the plan. Like I have disability. I have PTSD, like further damage on me, and so I'm supposed to what turn into a Lifetime movie for you. You know, like what do you need to be other than who you've been to inform what your story has to be? Um, all of that has been hard for me, but getting easier as I talk about it. It's becoming easier because as of the uh, the court case that I currently have, for them to like, you need time. Like it wasn't a continuance. What was it? I think an extension or something. You don't need time to figure out if what I'm saying is the truth. This legal nonsense that occurs here in America is exactly what it is. It's not. It makes absolutely no sense why we would still be fighting in court for anything. It's bizarre to me. And when I see it as, well, we're fighting because we can afford it, that shows you what the legal battle or what the legal system is in this country. It's you out financing the other person. So poor people are going to lose if they don't have education. They can't do anything. Fortunately for me, I can accomplish. But to say that I am not significantly hindered based on it, um, yeah, um, I can't put certain things together because, like, how did you get this? There's so much of it that, like, working legal, like, I see why legal teams have to be legal teams. One person has to have an opinion, another person, they look at it all these directions. It's only me that I have to look at something and link it to something else, write it out, put it, but like it's all becoming easy. And so I guess right now, I want to thank everybody for being here right now and hearing me talk about the stuff that I'm talking about. Um, I'm gonna, have you ever worked a job where something didn't work like it was? Did you have to find a workaround, jury rig one thing to another? During the commission of your task, you even thought you were doing your best. Sudden, the best scenario is the thing as intended, which would allow you to realize your potential. What that, again, things are cyclical. Now, if I say, hey, this doesn't work, oh, we know it doesn't work, but we got to do this thing and the next thing and the other thing so this thing could work so we could link it back to the all these other processes as opposed to just calling IT and saying, hey, this thing doesn't work, what can we build for it? You are not doing your best if the mechanism doesn't exist for you to achieve it. That's what that means. Who is going through something like that right now? Raise your hand. Who in the class? Who in the class is going through something like that right now? You have to go through a whole lot just to get one thing. We're constantly told to just do the best you can by people lacking the wherewithal to even assess good, let alone better. Worse, there are people who can do better but choose not to because it is easier. Any experience that cannot or will not allow you to see yourself honestly robs you of the opportunity to become better. And that leads into this. Where we last left off in our, that was 25. Oh, that was a nice little segue. Ooh, it flows. Um, um, on April 23rd, 2021, Megan Shaw wrote a final corrective action notice for me regarding my conduct and professionalism. Um, According to her, on 4/12/2021, had the reason she was talking to me was based on a problem with my communication with her up until that point, and the level she gave was coaching. According to her, on 4/15/2021, the reason she had a meeting with me was based on my communication, and the level that she assessed at that time was coaching. So, again, by 4/12/2021, Megan Shaw, a week probably into her, felt that she needed to talk to me about my level of communication with her. And by 4/14, there was another instance where she needed to speak to me. Oh, and to let you know, there was a meeting. I'm not sure. I addressed it in a video prior, but I'll include that in the I'm going to review this. This is just a live stream right now. Whoever's here, thank you so much. Support me at that link over there. That's my coffee page. And those are my social. Oh man, I could do stuff like, wait. I'm still getting the angle. Wait, okay. I'll get it. I'll get it. And those are my socials up there. I'm just gonna point there. Man, it's like reading it again. It's just silly, you know. But this was something that um was intentional as she did it. Like she collected information to support those two things, where she felt that she was counseling me on something, um, where there was no evidence to suggest that at the time. So the fact that this exists at all means that she created or aligned the evidence for it to support her statement. And because this 420 meeting exists, and it's super significant to me receiving this on 4/23, is for what she claims occurred between us. I am gonna pour my water. So I have to go to BJ's and get I have a Brita pitcher, but the filter went, and so I've just been refilling my water bottle. But I like cold water. I put it in the fridge. Okay. So on 4/6, I advised Megan that I would be working atypical work days for the remainder of the week due to a move. Direct manager followed up with a text message the same day to them to verify when they would be in, since the information was not provided before signing off. Her and HR work together on this, right? Because it's coming. It's a corrective action. So they verified the data together to publish this. I want that to be super duper clear. Um, I did not report to work or confirm the times and whether PTO was needed on 4/7. PTO was submitted at 6:30 a.m. Phoenix time on 4/8 for 4/7 to 4/9. There was no pre-approval or advance notice of the time off. CIOX policy is 2 weeks advance notice when possible. So again, on 4/6, Megan started her job after my prior boss told us the week before that he was quitting. When was the 2-week policy, or when was the 2-week advance notice? That's the first question I have. But HR and her, the HR, they work together to produce. Goals were due to be entered in UltiPro by 4/9. I was unable to complete my goals because due to last minute PTO, but gave no prior communication to his leader that they would be missed or when he would have them in. And again, her and HR worked together on this. I posted in the supervisor chat that he was leaving for a doctor's appointment. There was no pre-approval or advance notice of. In the 4/20 meeting that occurred before this disciplinary action, it was stated that personal errands are allowed to be performed during your lunch hour, which I had 30 minutes to an hour being management. And I don't have to give notice to that. So her and HR work together to produce that line. Daily meeting ran over to a line on a due date for P&P release. It was clear that the conversation was not over because supervisors were being asked for input on a deadline. Dropped from the call. When asked the reason why, he said it sounded like it was over. It wasn't. He was then asked to rejoin. Her and HR worked together. The reason why I'm not going too far into detail is because this is addressed ultimately. Megan Wilson, that's her name now. Megan Wilson worked with a large site that needed some additional support follow-up. While asking follow-up questions through Teams chat, I stated he was taking offense to the entire exchange and that he didn't appreciate her asking questions. So I was saying according to her, what this is supposed to read is that I took offense to the exchange of a meeting and that I didn't appreciate her asking me questions. That was her takeaway from what occurred. Direct manager proceeded to call and followed up with text message. Did not return the call, but acknowledged the missed call via text. However, didn't respond to the open items. If I have to get the call history from an old cell phone, I will. But I don't think I have to because that is also addressed in a later item. 4/14. EMR supervisors were given a deliverable to complete. So this is the same thing. The 414, 419, and 414 is the same thing. I did not agree with direct manager's decision, and gave pushback during the meeting in front of his peers and other leaders. Direct manager addressed his concerns and asked the supervisors to select. So again, she addressed my concerns and asked the supervisors to select the due date, to which all said Friday, 4/16 would suffice. I advised I would not be committing to a date prior to reviewing the data. Again, based on the meeting that she claims she called with me, this is what she decided to write about that experience. On 4/20, right, I tentatively accepted a follow-up call with direct manager and HR generalist to close out a prior day's occurrence. Direct manager asked me if I had a conflict, and that's why I did not accept. I advised I did not, but wanted to know the purpose of the meeting prior to it. And replying to a tentative, listen, it's all addressed. And again, we had a 420 meeting, and this was not discussed. You know, it wasn't, you can't do it, because as far as I know, you can reply tentatively to an email, but we'll get to see how she addressed that. Direct manager received a formal complaint from a processor on my team advising her of issues where there was a clear lack of empathy from their leader. And mind you, the 420 meeting happened specifically in the way that it happened. And this is what she and HR together worked on to end this complaint again. All leaders were asked to join a leadership call led by EVP to announce some organizational changes. I joined the call. I asked if my day-to-day was changing, and then I left the call since he was not impacted. So again, it was one of those things where our department was not our department was in dire need of optimization, and the only resource that we had left. And I did not have the systems access that I needed to start my job and do my functions. They became active when he left. I don't want to say that I have bigger fish to fry, right? But if someone is calling me into a meeting to tell me not to say anything about having the meeting, I don't think it's a good use of my time to be in the, I'm not sure. And that's why again, this is all addressed. But this is my thought process towards things, you know. You want me to be in a meeting that I can't tell anyone about, that won't have anything really to do with me. And it's required that I be in this meeting for the length of time that I'm in this meeting, as opposed to fixing what I've inherited. That is a better use of time. Oh man, this is fun. Um, Received a formal complaint from a processor on my team requesting to be removed from my leadership. Processor advised that there were concerns with my communication style and Teams chat manner. Was able to show example of team members being actively coached in group Teams chat versus one-on-one or over. I'll address that later. And again, Megan Shaw, aka Megan Wilson, and HR worked together to produce this document. Received a screenshot of a detailed message where from me, that was posted in Teams chat. Chat included the following details. Let me keep it real with you. I have not received formal training in this department. Everything that I am developing is based on personal research and personal development. Again, when I entered the department, they were changing it. There was no rule book or guidebook because there was not one. Everything that we were creating was based on what we do. I'm inheriting people that don't have work, that don't have access to the systems that they're supposed to be. Why would I come in there and fake the funk? My communication style is honest. I'm not going to sit here and lie to people and tell them it's being taken care of. I don't know where to begin, and it's based on what you all are telling me. Why would I? Why would I have? I own what I do, you know. And so if I don't mind looking like a fool, I don't mind looking like anything that someone else has to base their judgment on. I don't care what people think about me, you know. I am ignorant until I know. That's how knowledge works. That's how knowledge works. So I don't mind looking. People put words like incompetent. I will just ask you, do you know how to do it? Yes or no? But people will say to me, I know how to do it, but then you don't know how to do it. You know, I, if someone came to me and say, "Hey, can you build a website?" No, I don't remember. I don't remember the basics of JavaScript or HTML. No, I can't do it. But I've come to be a part of a system where you can say yeah, but no. A business environment where you can say yeah, but no. I'm not going to do that. And it's not going to be the people that I lead. I'm going to tell you this is where I am lacking and this is what I am learning. My job is dependent on ensuring that you guys are happy. Because guess what? I have been in meetings where people were asked direct questions and they'd be like, oh, well. And the reason I say they be like is because they be like, you know, we've been in the meetings where someone is asked a question that they should, quote unquote, know the answer to, and they do not. I will only ask you, do you have this information? Were you aware that it was due by this date? What happened that you weren't able to have it prepared? I would want to know, me as a person would want to know what's preventing you from doing the thing that I ask you to. That's, do you need help? You know? But people take offense to that because they feel as though they're being put on the spot. And because I've had meetings prior that said, hey, do you mind if we do this in a group setting so that our knowledge is built collectively? Because I don't know what you guys currently do, but this is what it's going to have to happen in order for us to all know what's going on with each other, you know? And it was such the nature of the job that was beneficial to do. But yeah, that's addressed. I said I was going to talk about things in such a way where like what I've done is on paper. So I'm only just like, this is what makes sense to me. So it doesn't matter whether I wrote it down a year ago. It doesn't matter whether or not. It doesn't matter whether I will be asked 5 years from now. Um, it's what makes sense to me at the time. Because it's nothing for me to say, well, I used to believe, or I used to understand, or I was ignorant until I knew better. Such is the way of knowledge. All CIOX Health associates are expected to adhere to CIOX Health policies and procedures in addition to presenting in a professional manner. Due to the nature of the client services provided by CIOX Health, we must maintain high professional standards, provide high quality customer service, and consistently demonstrate diligent work habits. Unprofessional behavior attitude discredits the services provided by CIOX Health, negatively impacts the work environment and/or customer relationship and customer health business goals. Customer health has an obligation to maintain a safe and productive working environment. Expectations and follow-up. I am expected to adhere to CIOX Health site health. Excuse me. I'm sorry. When I read number 2, it just gets to be um, at this late stage. It just gets to be, because this was said prior to people doing everything that they, you know, it just, it's astounding. I am expected to adhere to CIOX Health site policies, procedures in respect to conduct, professional behavior. I am expected to proactively communicate with my manager in advance of time off requests that requests should be entered 2 weeks in advance, followed up with a communication to my direct manager to ensure we are in alignment. I am expected to meet deadlines set forth by manager. Any deadlines in question should be discussed offline with his direct manager, clarification or potential extension. But any due dates will be set forth by direct. I'm expected to remain engaged, non-combative during. The reason why that particular line is written, because after the 420 meeting, and I got to see specifically who a person was, and then this happened, I didn't really ask questions anymore, clarification. I just listened, and I didn't really do anything, the meetings anymore. I would be asked if I had any questions, did not have any questions. Someone had demonstrated to me their willingness to weaponize their position, and I don't have any problems. I've already said what I said in my tentative response while I waited for her to explain the purpose of the meeting. I didn't want to I did not want to be on her team anymore, and I made that clear. And I did not want to engage any more than I had to, because someone was able to threaten my position so directly. And then showed it to me based on her actions and the effect that it would have. It's hard. It's hard to read this, but it was hardest to have it be read to me after everything that occurred prior to this. It hurts my feelings. If I have additional concerns or issues, they should be taken offline with with direct manager instead of in front of. If no one else received this instruction, then it was particular to me. And because the way that I've engaged in meetings for a month prior to her even existing in the department, and not combative, but asking questions and people feeling attacked because there are answers that they should know, right? But I don't come with that energy. It's do you know it or not. You should know it or else. Do you know it or not? But people are offended by that because they take onto themselves it's like I don't want to look stupid, and I don't care if you do, because I have looked stupid. You think right now, as I'm talking about this and sharing all this stuff, that I don't seem to some stupid? I don't care. What is my goal here? And it's to ensure that what I have to say is on record. It's linkable, it's shareable, so that by the time people get to see things unfold, as I could die, I could be hit by a bus today, you know. And the particulars of this matter are still a question because the court processes to have the truth come out are being obstructed, and it is the legal mechanism of this country. It is to tie you up and exhaust your resources. And if you have $7 billion to my no, I don't have $7. No, I don't only have $7. But if you have seven, but to scale, you know, you have $7 billion, and I have $7, and you're threatened by me and my truth. Why? Is it because there's something in here that bothers you from getting out? There are things called NDAs and settlement agreements, and that's something that I knew that I was pursuing as far as August 10th. So, yeah, I got to go through everything. I have to go through everything from the beginning because I have to ensure that the people who did this they never forget what they've done here, regardless of whatever court process that they can afford to put anyone else through. The thing that I think of going through all of this stuff is this could be happening to anyone at that company, and they don't have the skill set or the knowledge or or the whatever to have it in such a way where it was just outside of their reach from being able to talk about it, from being able to contextualize their experience in a way that's understandable. I If all it takes, everything I got, then even with this little bit, I'm going to ensure that the truth that I know, that history recorded, is the one that everyone else knows. So that if I am hit by a bus today, that there was no reason for me to have been terminated. Unless. So yeah, we're going That's what we're doing right now. There won't be any breaks or anything like that because the video that's actually posted on YouTube will just be this chopped up. So all I have to do is just get through it. I just want to get through it. Whether I look stupid or not. But so long as the truth is simple, I just simply need to get through it. So I thank everyone who is here, who will be here watching the video. I appreciate you. Even if no one's watching, I appreciate myself for being able to show up and talk about this, because I have done everything that I know how to do, and it has been working in a system that I'm still determining whose side the system. So until I learn, until I know better, I suppose, is what I can do. I'm expected to attend and remain on any meetings or calls for the full duration of the meeting. We've had people arrive late and leave early in meetings. But again, there is a reason that this could be more right, it feels. But again, to give more weight, even. Oh my goodness. New things, new pieces of information, just, man. But anyway, expected to touch base with my direct manager prior to signing off for the day to ensure there are no pending items that need. Again, I don't know if anyone else had to do this or if I had to do it in order for the leash to be as tight as it could around my neck. I'm expected to remain professional when communicating and with my direct manager, other leaders, peers. So this is to assume that I was not professional. My capacity. The level of disrespect that I have received has been tremendous. But again, just got to get through this. Any issue should be addressed offline. So she didn't want to know, like she don't want anyone to see. Listen, I just got to get through. Any issue should be addressed offline directly with her versus in a group setting. And we had team meetings, right? So at some point, I couldn't have spoken in meetings if I had to directly address something that she said or did, because I had to wait until it was offline. It's this sort of like conflicting. Too many things can't be true at the same time. It isn't to say, listen, two things could be true at the same time. I'm holding something in this hand and I'm holding something in this hand. Those two things are true. But I'm holding something in this hand and it's a watch. I am holding something in my hand, but it isn't a watch. At some point, what you're saying is not what you're doing. At some point, too much of what you're trying to say needs to stick together. I think of keep it simple, stupid, and because this happened in the way that it did, um, for instance, you have things in 419 that you didn't talk about in the 420 meeting. You had me talk about them, and by the end of that meeting, you said nothing was wrong. So it's that sort of stuff that's like weird. It's weird. Um, um, Teams chat and then expected to coach and manage performance on an individual level versus in a group setting. Again, we had daily team meetings where that was done. So there was a reason that I could not do what everyone else did, and it just feels like it needs. I'm expected to remain communicative with my direct reports and respond in a timely fashion or advise when a response will be provided. Lastly, I'm expected to work the following hours, 6 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. MST, in order to be available to work or to support my direct manager, peers, team lead, and direct reports throughout the full workday. Again, this directly defies what I was hired as, what my hours would be. And because my support, the way our assistants work, were that they supported the staff to the end of the workday because there were things I put in place, things that me and my assistant worked on that we gave our. Once I knew what I had to do, it became easy to tell other people what they had to do. You know, that's what me doing my research does. You know, um, as far as I know, I would have been the only person that had to do. I don't know. I don't know. But there was a reason why my hours worked right up until my 420 meeting when she learned that my hours were okay. This change was required, you know. And it's to be, you know, more right. As an exempt employee, if there are additional hours required for the day in order for me to complete tasks, I will be asked to stay later to complete. Again, if I'm the first person up and I'm up by 6 o'clock, I'm getting up early to do all the tasks that I have to do, so I'll be done by the day. There is absolutely no reason for me to stay on. And HR and Megan Shaw work together. This is the final corrective action notice. I should be aware that immediate and sustained improvement is required. If I meet expectations, no further action will be taken regarding this issue. It's super important. I read the things. I couldn't read this on 423 the day that I read it. But when I was able to read it, I was understanding what was happening. And for me as a person, it got terrifying because people were watching this happen and work together for this to happen. And no further action will be taken regarding the issue. Mind you, I was terminated 2 weeks later at will. So I could only assume that I met my expectations and no further action should have been taken against me. Continue failure to follow the required standards and expectations listed in this document or any further violation of any other company site policies and procedures, essential job functions, or customer requirements will result in additional corrective action up to and including termination of employment. So again, if you wrote down all this stuff that I had to do, and over 2 weeks, I had to sign out to you in order for you to say you're doing a good job. So trust, I knew at the end of the day I was doing a good job because it was required by her. I don't know why I was let go on May 10th 2021 for at will. I'm not sure why they would report to North Carolina unemployment that I was let go because they wanted me to be let go. I'm trying to remember. Um, because North Carolina unemployment states that essentially everything that Megan Shaw, aka Megan Wilson, um, stated was on record as what my job functions. And so either I was doing them or I was not. That's because that's the metric that I operate off of, you know. That was very, very, very easy for me to like, okay. So when I received a letter telling me, oh, you were just let go because of a management decision and it's because she wanted to, why? There's some things that happened in between 4/23, 2021 and May 10th, 2021 that would have required my termination. And because I'm still not sure why specifically, there's just a lot of evidence to suggest something. And that's who issued it. I can't say, listen, this was already posted in the past. There ain't nothing else that I have to really, so I'm gonna let y'all read the two questions there because I'm not saying anything regarding them. That's as far as July 15th, 2022, when this article was sent to CIOX and their legal representative. That's the only two questions because I've sent them a bunch of documentation in the past that have questions that just weren't answered. And so the only thing I wanted to know is based on the communications that we were having at the time, if they could answer those two questions. Because now it's getting to a point where I am I'm asking you direct questions. If I was a lawyer, right? If I was a lawyer, I would know to have started my lawsuit as early as when I got my thing, my right to sue, but I'm not. And because I know that federal lawsuits are a big deal, that's not something that I would have been able to accomplish. So the only thing I wanted to do was settle out of court. Because a civil lawsuit is a lot easier. But because I can prove so many things, um, I don't want to have to, you know? Like, why are we doing this thing where you know what time it is, you know what you've done, you know everything you could possibly need to know, but we still got to go through this because that's what you have. I don't really understand why. Personally, I don't understand. I learned something very recently from reading, listening Viola Davis's Finding Me. I've learned that though I have the spirit of a hero, I don't want to die like one. I want to use my artistry, the accumulation of the treasures and souvenirs that I have collected throughout time, to be a facilitator of my vision of the future, uninhibited by the things intended to block me. One moment. So by July 15th, I knew that there was a cause greater than fighting people in court for foolishness, for things that they know that they've done, but they just want to fight me because they can. Don't want to accept responsibility. You figure you run a business where you expect your employees to follow the rules, follow guidelines, but you don't have to, you know? I personally don't get it. So by the time this article was written and sent to the people who needed to receive it, I don't feel like I don't have to go over anything else. I don't have to review any other document, any other aspect of the experience to hold anyone accountable for. I just want to know, why do I get to be put through it? And if it's simply because you could afford to do it, stop. Stop. There's so much that I can prove. There's so much that I have proven already. Stop. Because at some point, the people who work together to ensure that things occurred after this date are just going to be caught. The evidence is going to point to them. They will all be dealt with. But if I die during the course of a, if anything happens to me during the course of any investigation that's happening right now, there is a document that was sent to CIOX, I think July 8th. I want to say maybe July 8th. That it has them dead to rights, right? It's been testified to exist in court because of the claims that were being against me. Why am I continuing to go through? And it should not be because they can afford. It should not be that they are financing a matter because they have the resource. And because I have a TikTok that exists, I think, one moment. I don't post everything that I write or say or whatever. The reason that I do it for the reason I'm doing it now is because there is a period of time that has to be well defined. Um, it just has to be well defined. And so, oh, I'm gonna die. Yeah, found it. I had to switch phones at some point because one of them is uh, evidence. Well, they both are technically because I have to show that I was receiving um, a lot of stuff that was referring to me. But I don't think that's right. Whoops. I don't know. Oh, nice. Oh, okay. Okay. This is cool. Okay, so I have a TikTok already that I'm gonna have to use. It's at Cy Belmont. Same name. There was a period of time that I had a lot of stuff to prove, and um, I rem. Yeah. I'm gonna stop right. Already an hour, and I would still have to. Essentially, what happened? That video was a second. It has, and if I can remember correctly, then it is specifically why I sent them my 8,000, and the claims in it. I'm not sure at what point I was no, but just determined to ensure by this date, July 15th, a week after I sent, so the 15th would have been a Friday. Um, Bro, when I sent that email, I received, they had holiday away. They went on vacation while this man. And to say that I was disrespected is, people could afford vacation while they actively contribute. the destruction. Because I to say that it isn't continuing simply because things exist where um I am to this day thought of a me. Uh to this day I'm still eating to, and I don't want since July 15th. I've not wanted to since August 10th, about a month after this. I don't want to talk to any of you because I know who I am. Because I know by the time August 10th happened, and it had to be such a way. Not it had to be. I'm waiting for months at a time to wait for that I can very clearly stop playing. It's mentioned in the very email. So that's one more thing I don't want to have to do. No, but I am because I have to. Because everything that could have been settled by August 10th, you figure by August 12th, everything could have been settled. But it wasn't. It wasn't because that was the decision that people, or at least the decision that they came to regarding the information. Um, I don't know if I'm going to. I may, because I really only there really is only like episode two, um, the why I believe. But since that's not a claim that I don't have to, because a new is the one. The new claim is based on things that happened on August 12th. So I never actually have to talk about it. I never have to talk about it right up until it's time for me to talk about it. If I need to talk about it. Um, I still have to edit the first episode, put that in piece. Still have to, oh, and play music. But that's the only thing I want to do. Get through. Hopefully, for talk about back. Just a matter. Of go to episode part. You know, I want to make this because I've said everything. The only thing now is making, but now on the internet, uh, guaranteed form of permanence that there is. Um, I once again want to thank everyone for anyone. I can't tell what so people at work. Someone did pop in. Yeah. Um, Yo, this is get it on page. Um, People are not going, but they will know that there is, so they can come. Anything that would be said in these people kind of get to that they don't know what I'm talking about, that just food. Because I do finish editing, finish posting the, I can enjoy